Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
February 22, 2020, the $3 billion Club edition. First up, you wonder why the Department of Justice and the Securities Exchange Commission continually say compliance and ethics starts with tone at the top. Well, that's explained in the Wall Street Journal article about the Astros owner Jim Crane with his penultimate comment, "I don't think I should be held accountable." So what is accountability? Where does it start? Where does tone start? Jim Crane made it clear that the Astros sign stealing scandal is not his problem. From the New York Times, a very troubling article that federal prosecutors are now looking into whether Boeing's lead pilot lied to the FAA intentionally about the software program for the 737 MAX plane, the MCAS, and whether or not Boeing was aware of this misrepresentation to the FAA. If it turns out all of this is true and the grand jury indicts, it will certainly be devastating for Boeing and could lead down a road of debarment, and that would be incredibly devastating for Boeing. It would be incredibly devastating for the United States. So very, very troubling set of facts. From Reuters, we have news that the UK Fraud Office has referred an employee to police amid leak allegations. It said that it referred an individual to police among allegations by the mining company ENRC that an SFO insider had leaked confidential information about the ENRC investigation to a journalist. The investigation and prosecutor said it identified a potential security issue but would not comment further. ENRC has done everything it can to fight allegations of fraud, bribery, and corruption brought by the SFO, and this, of course, is just one more tactic used by ENRC, but the SFO has really had a lot of trouble with this investigation. And finally, our lead story. It appears that Wells Fargo may have reached settlement with the government over its fake account scandal, and it's reported by the Wall Street Journal, Ben Eisen, that the company will pay $3 billion to settle investigations into its long-running fake account scandal. If this does come, it will certainly put a exclamation mark on the company's conduct, and we expect to see more come out. Obviously, the OCC report or indictment rather, that came out last month was damning enough as well. So Wells Fargo, once again, demonstrating that not only does it all start with the top and tone at the top, but there must be a connection between what management is saying and the reality on the ground. The 8 is great sales slogan. It was not in and of itself illegal, evil, or even wrong. But when you force people to hit targets that are completely unreasonable and then fire them for not doing so, they pretty much get the message immediately. Wells Fargo also had an incredibly broken and toxic culture, which allowed basically executives to lie to the board of directors. So all of this is very troubling, and it would be good for Wells Fargo to finally put an end to this, but the ramifications and repercussions we're going to have to explore more fully when the settlement documents come out. So Wells Fargo joins the $3 billion club. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening.